So, God, I gotta stop saying so, excuse me. Today, we are going to take a look at set 9. And as you've been following along with the videos, you notice we have quite a few sets. And this map, this world map that we created some time ago, was actually, it came to fruition, gosh, after the first 9 sets, I believe. So today, we're going to take a look at the Arctic lands. And if you want to know how large of a piece you can make with tiled, this was made in tiled years ago. This is actually, if we were to print this out true to size, it would be 4 feet tall by 8 feet long. So you can make a very big map. And as you can see, we can zoom in here, put a little equatorial line in. Today we're going to discuss the polar regions. And in this you can see we've created icebergs and a whole new set of terrain. We're going to come in here. We've got a whole new set of coastlines, and we brought in some wonderful sunken ships and things. To start with today, I went ahead and I brought in one of our newer frames, and the only thing I've added on here is a water layer. And in set 9, you have a water layer. So if you wanted to kind of make this faded edge, that's what this is. It's just the faded edge chased around with this 50% water layer. Underneath the water, I wanted to show some new stuff. So let's see, underwater ruins and dunes. Let's add a few more. I think we need a few more ships, don't you? Yes, yes, Russ, I do. Awesome. So we're going to go up here, click on that layer, make sure it's unlocked. I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm just going to place some shipwrecks. Nope, don't want that. That looked like ass. Let's place it right there. And I think we're going to make this a different size. And if you've seen, if you go up here to the Select Objects, you can click on an object, click on either of these. I can do one of two things. I can either duplicate it, or I can flip it horizontally. And once the box shows up, I can also shrink it. So and if I click in the box again, I can also turn it. So we can actually add this into a dune. And let's shrink this one too. So I'm just going to click on the object and then click off. Now we also added, for the world scale, different ships of different cultures. So if you're using Old World Style Set 1, or any of the others to create your world map, you'll notice you now have a lot more merchant ships. But for the moment, we're going to add some shipwrecks, because shipwrecks are fun. And we're just going to shrink that guy down. Put him in there. I like the idea of, especially this jagged reef area underneath, being the spot of a lot of shipwrecks. And we also have, by the way, more place markers in set 9 for different towns, castles. But enough of that. So we're going to go above the water layer. Remember, up here, you're going to, in the box where you want the layer, you're going to right click, hit new, and let's do a tile layer. And if you've worked with our coastlines before, you'll know that they just snap right in. And let's see what we got here. What do we want to do? Center that. We've also got some more coastlines that will work with your old tile sets. Set 3, set 4, set 5, set 6. Lots of them. And actually, I got to take off the water layer here. I've got to just delete these since I'm making a coast. And I need to name this layer coastline or coat line. I don't care. I draw pretty pictures. I'm not supposed to be able to spell. And I think on this, I'm going to go ahead and object layer this. And I'm going to cheat slightly so I can still use the edge of my map. I'm going to place a tile on an object layer, and I'm going to shrink this so it feels like it's kind of hovering. That coastline goes to that edge. And when you're creating a map, it's all about seeing what you've got with the tools you have. And let's see, what else we got? Oh, right here. Okay, I've got my tool. I'm hovering with my tile. I don't want to drop it yet. I am going to hit Y, and that will let me flip that tile around so I can butt it up to that next coastline. And what do we got? Do I want to use that one? I don't want to use that one. I want to use this one. And again, I'm going to hit X, and now I can take that down. And how I did over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a little coastline. I'm going to place this on there. Yes, it does not fit yet, so we're going to do this. We're going to scrunch and scrunch. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Boom. Then in the water layer, I'm just going to go back through and doop, 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 which means I hit this one. I got to tweak it. And we'll have to figure out something to do right here. There we go. On this coastline, let's go back to this coastline. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I want that to overlap, I think. I want that to feel like that's a ridge of that coastline. Oh, too many pieces. Should I do that there? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to put a little peninsula right here. And right down here at the bottom, we're going to do the same thing that we did up here. So I'm going to go there, place the tile. There are limitations, granted. And then in this space over here, in this coastline, I want to make this all the winter area. Nope, don't like that. I like that. There's like a small little sandy bluff area here. I like that. And we're going to do the same thing up here. Oops. Delete that. Now, if I was using set 7, I could do a frame and hide all this underneath. But you got to play with what you got to play with. So, go with that one. I think I want that. And I can deal with that. Now, in this area here, I can either delete this, which we're going to, because it will make it easier later. Oops. And that goes all the way over there. We can fudge that. I'll show you how in just 1 minute. All right, in this layer, so above this, we've got this. I'm going to lock that because it's very specific pieces to the coastline. I'm going to put coastline floaters. So I'm going to right click, new, object layer. And now we can do things like bringing in our icebergs. We can create ice shelves. But for this, let's get this edge finished off. And I want this to be the really cold stuff here. I'm just going to let those mountains float. Oops. Random mountain, random mountain. And I'm going to add one tile layer so I can introduce one of these guys. Nope, too far off. There we go. And this is really just to illustrate to your players the terrain. You've got your encounter maps that you do. I'm going to finish decorating this and I'll be right back and we'll start placing our icebergs. And here we go. I have gone ahead and done our border with the mountains. I've added a large cave. I decided as far as scale on this, since most of these maps are pretty much, they're not really to scale, they're representational. They're more of a gist of where you want to, play. So your key areas are going to be highlighted. So, like here, we've got several ships buried in the sand and in the water. So this is, the place where ships dare not go. We've got ruins here. On here, we've got two little piers, some docks. I've got a castle over here, and I've got a small town down here, indicating that. I also added something fun up here. I added a large ice cave entrance. So again, when you're presenting this to your players, it's the idea of, this is my representational map of part of the world that I want to take you to. It could be a whole campaign. It could just be a session. Depends on how fast they go through things. So now, what I want to show you is our icebergs. And in this, you can see as I highlight each one of these, there's partial transparencies under each of these. So this is an ice shelf I added while we were gone there. And if we were to go to the coastline, so we have the water layer, let's add, I've got a bunch of seaweed and things here. So we're going to add a new object layer. I'm going to call it seaweed. There. Let's add some seaweed and coral. And we're going to go on here. Where do we want to add it? I think we want to add it over here by the ruins, don't you? I'm thinking so. So we can add a coral shelf. It's growing on the ruins. And we'll add seaweed down here. And that's the beauty of these maps, is that they're representational. They're just kind of, they're to give your players the idea of something that's going on and some clues perhaps of what they're about to run into down there. And maybe on mountains above, I didn't name this layer. I was a very bad man because I didn't do that. But I'm going to add these. We brought in some of the jungle terrains from set 5, and we'll add something goofy's going on here. All the trees are a different color. So we're floating back and forth at this point. And if you wanted to, we also have things like snow. You could actually, boom, put snow behind. We're going to add another layer, I think. You could put snow on top of buildings and things if this were zoomed in, if I brought that in. So now let's just go ahead. I think I want to place some icebergs. We need icebergs. So, oh, my apologies. There we go. Is that on there? Ah, it's because I had to go up with that. Okay. There we go. So now I could just do icebergs. I can overlap them. I can go underneath other icebergs. This one I let float off the map because once in a while I like doing that. But this is a great way of showing. We've got the ice shelf here. We've got several smaller icebergs happening. You also have a hint of a little ridge under here with an entrance. If I were to move this, yeah, let's move that out so you can see it. There's a cave. Oh my gosh. So now, I think I want to put a ship down here at the port. There we go. And we're just going to go back and decorate with some more icebergs. And we're going to keep this really tight in here. But I think we'll keep, for some ungodly reason, they just have massive amounts of ice up here. And we can add more ice. We can actually add an ice shelf going down here. We'll extend it out into the water a little bit. And have it pull back. How your players deal with that. And we're going to add one more right here. And again, since these are partially transparent, you can tell that there's also things behind. But that is pretty much set 9. It's a lot of new things to explore. We've got new coastlines that you can put in with your other sets. You've got lots of new ships. You got a lot of new icon markers. We've got snowy mountains. We've got 2 different varieties with the bleached white and with the kind of the tan with snow cap, so that you can start blending into your normal terrains. That concludes today, and I thank you, friends, for joining me and look forward to the next video. Happy mapping!